Hi, Fashion Dolls. It is Wisdom Wednesday, May 31st, and we are closing out the month of May with our last interview for this month. I'm super excited, Fashion Dolls. Our very special guest today is no stranger to the acting world as well as the fashion world. And I'm super excited to have him here. If you guys are wondering, today's look is an homage to Tina Turner, so that's why I'm all sparkly today. But I hope you guys are all doing well. So without further ado, let's welcome our very special guest, ladies and gentlemen, Amir Carpenter. Let me go ahead and share this live with him. But before we can get into today's interview, how are all of you doing, you guys? I'm super excited to be back. Yesterday was a great girl talk with Latrice. We had a great time, so make sure you guys go and check that out. I'm over here, skin all dewy, looking all glowy. So shout outs to everybody out here. Thank you for watching the platform. So without further ado, let's welcome our very special guest, Amir J. Carpenter. And I'm trying not to melt too, so thank you. Oh, you like the fan? As you guys can see, I'm over here all glowy, but I love it. I love the glowy look. So shout outs to our makeup artist here, Melanie Nalla My Bridges. Hello, hello.
Hey, Steve, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
All right, awesome, awesome. Hey, how's it going?
Welcome. I am doing wonderful. Welcome to the dollhouse. How are you?
Uh, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
It's such a pleasure to have you here, ladies and gentlemen, Amir J. Carpenter. So before we get into this interview, I did a little research on your name, and your name means prince. So how does
Yes, it
that
does.
feel? How does that feel?
You know, I don't really think about it too much. I mean, my parents, they're kind of militant growing up, so they wanted us to all have unique names. So I have two brothers. I actually have a twin brother, believe it or not, a fraternal twin. He's actually about 6'5", a lot bigger than me. And honestly, we're like night and day as far as personalities and lifestyles. He's got, two kids. I'm single, no kids. So, just a little different that way. And but as far as my name, I mean, it's been interesting growing up, because every time I hear anything that sounds like beer or a mirror or anything like that, I kind of think people are referring to me. So I'm turning my head left and right. Oh, no, you're talking about drinking a beer, something like that.
Oh goodness, that was good. So it's amazing to have you here, right here in the
Thank you.
dollhouse. So without further ado, let's get right into this interview. How did you get your start into acting?
You know, I kind of it's been an interesting ride, to be honest with you. I didn't get into it till after high school, till about till I was in college. Um, I actually enjoyed it and I liked it in high school, but I saw a play. Believe it or not, it was The Wizard of Oz. Some of my friends were actually in the play. I said, "Oh man, that looks cool. It looks like something I'd be interested in. It looks like a lot of fun, and people were being creative." So I said, "Maybe I'll give it a shot later on." So, but my original plan was that I went to college. I was studying communications. I was going to go into sports broadcasting. I spent about a year there. And I said, this isn't really for me, and decided to, give acting a shot. And yeah, I've been doing it ever since.
And you're not only an actor, but you model also as well too. And
Yes,
I've
yes.
seen some of your photos in stores everywhere. I flip through magazines and I've seen some of your photos as well too. So how do you find that balance with modeling and acting, even though they both go hand in hand? How do you find that balance with both?
Well, my first love is acting. I kind of fell into modeling. It's interesting because I grew up a shy kid. I was kind of husky, so I was a little insecure and all that kind of stuff growing up. And so I never really thought about it until around after high school. I started dropping some weight, and started getting a little more attention. And then people were asking me, "Hey, do you model this and that?" And I said, "No, I don't do any of that kind of stuff." And a scout came up to me one day and said, "Hey, you should consider commercials and modeling, and we'd like to sign you if you're interested." I said, "Sure, why not?" So I got into it, and things took off from there. I was honestly, I was surprised. I was like, "Man, this money is kind of easy." Except the hard part is, you got to stay fit and stay in shape. And as you get older, it starts to get a little harder on your body. And I actually stopped for a while. I stopped modeling just because it wasn't really my passion. But I gotten back into it because somebody else came up to me and said, "Hey, we'd like to sign you." So I said, "Sure, why not?" And still, been going strong ever since.
And speaking of projects and modeling, you have a project coming out next month with our girl Shireen Crutchfield
Right.
of Crutchfield Jones. I've had her and her husband Ricky on the show, Crutchfield Jones Project. Make sure you guys go and check them out. They have a lot of new music out right now. And she's done some modeling as well too. We'll get to that a little bit later. But where do you find the passion and the strength to keep going? Because I know it's a lot balancing. You have a lot of you have at least 3 projects that are coming out throughout the years. So how do you find that balance with everything?
Just taking it day by day. This profession, there's no roadmap as far as acting. Everybody has a different journey. And honestly, it can be, it's up and down as far as the emotional ride. Sometimes, you're on cloud nine because you're working a lot or you're auditioning a lot. And then there are times where you're not getting a lot of auditions or you're not working. So you just have to have a balance as far as, knowing that this thing will go up and down. I've been lucky. I've been fortunate to, work a lot this year. Like you said, I have a project coming out with Shireen. It's called Passionate Betrayals. It'll be coming out the end of next month. I was excited because I'd worked with these producers before. A guy named Peter Weiss and Trudy Sargent. They casted me back in, I'd say, 2021 in a project called In the Shadows. It's a television series. It's out now, actually. It's on the Forest Bias Network. And I got to play one of the lead characters in that series, which was a lot of fun. That also starred Erica Hubbard. She's working a lot. Great actress. And, it was a good time. It was a good time. It was during COVID. We shot the project during COVID, which was insane because we were getting tested, every couple of days. And I wanted to make sure I didn't get COVID because I was like, well, I'm the new guy to this project, so if I catch it, I might get fired or even replaced. So I was fanatic about not catching COVID. And somebody close to me during that time when we were filming, I wasn't sure if they had it or not, but they were, coughing and, just the symptoms. And I'm literally sitting, yeah, exactly. I'm literally sitting like 2 feet away from this person on a couch in their room. And, after they started coughing, I said, let me get out of here. Sure enough, find out they had COVID. Luckily, I didn't catch it, and I just kind of stayed away, and I kind of isolated myself from everybody during that time. So, yeah.
When this pandemic hit, when I tell you, boy, it's crazy because it was just like the shutdowns started happening.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people were just unaware of, okay, what is going to be the next move or uncertain, especially if you were in the New York area and you were on stage doing Broadway during that time. A lot of production has closed down and it's affecting everything. But now we're seeing that normalcy where everything is opened back up. The world has opened up completely and it's some normalcy. So we're back to working, and you have this project coming out, and it's very steamy. The cover is very steamy. It is juicy. I said, oh my God, I got to check this out. So Passionate Betrayals, which drops June 25th. That's next month. Are you excited for your project coming out?
I am excited. I'm extremely excited because I've worked with this director before, Brandon Scotland. He worked on In the Shadows because we actually had three directors on that series. He was one of the ones that worked on it. And so when I found out he was directing, I was like, oh, this is great because we had a great connection. He's a great director, and he's a visionary. And he lets you play around. Sometimes directors have they want to keep it strictly to the script or this and that, which is good. You don't want to change the writing at all too much, but you want to make it feel natural, which he allowed us to do. But this project it's a really good project. I play a character named Antonio. Believe it, I play a movie star, and my wife is also an actress in the movie, and we're kind of like this black power couple, and it's a thriller, and not to give it all away, but it takes place where my wife and I were kind of meeting up with another couple, and we tend to go on a vacation together, and it gets a little wild. Like I said, I don't want to give it away. You have to go and see it, but there's a lot to it. There's some fight scenes and things like that where we're a stunt coordinator, and I got a little banged up on the project, but I was okay. So yeah, good time.
You just got to stay tuned, you guys. June 25th is when Passionate Portrayals is released. So make sure you guys go and tune that in. Now, what inspires you to keep going? Who or what inspires you to keep going?
You know what? Throughout this process, people who have inspired me are actors like Denzel Washington, Sidney Poitier, even like a Will Smith, those types of guys, because they've represented black people in a highlight, in a way that isn't stereotypical as far as some of the negative things that are portrayed as far as black people in this world and in this country. And that's where I take my inspiration. I'd like to show us in a good light. I'm very conscious about projects I take on and certain things and aspects of the project that I don't want to promote as far as negativity too much. I mean, if it fits within the confines of the project, then yeah, because you don't want to really judge the character and things of that nature too much, or else you're not going to do it justice. So if I ever feel like I don't like this character or the way he's portrayed, I probably won't take on the project. But yeah, those are my inspirations, and hopefully, through my story, my journey, I can inspire somebody else to keep going. Because my biggest thing is to not quit and not give up. Because if you don't quit and you stay persistent, it may take a while, it'll take a long time, but you will get there. As long as you keep trying. I think that's the message for me.
Absolutely. And I love what you just said, whereas I want the actors that you just named, I want to showcase our people in a different light. Whereas I talk about this a lot with a lot of actors, and that is typecasting, where they only want you to portray one specific role. And I've had this conversation with actresses as well too. And I said, as Black women, we're so much more than just they want you to portray, if you're an actress, or you got to portray the prostitute, you got to portray the drug dealer's girlfriend, you got to portray all of this. And it's just like, no, it's so much facets to us than just that. Show us another light. Or what I tell my girlfriend, Ro Underwood, who's the Raising Canine, the spinoff for Ghost and Power. Yes. You have range. So it's all about being able to have range to be able to portray different characters. And that's what producers and directors are looking for in this business in order to have longevity.
Right, exactly. I'm sorry?
Go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go for it.
Yes, I was saying, if you could change anything about the industry, about the movie industry, about the entertainment business, what would that one thing be?
If I could change anything, just like you said, allowing actors to not be so typecast per se. I mean, granted, in the industry, a lot of it's based off of a look per se, but allowing actors to kind of showcase, like you said, their range. I mean, there's been times where I've gotten roles and things like that where they only see you as I don't know, I don't know how to describe it, but let's just say I kind of understand how women feel sometimes when they're looked at just for their look per se. So if that's one thing I could change, it would be that as well. Yeah, not being judged off of just purely how you look. I mean, I get it. The industry is image based, but like I said, give people a chance to kind of showcase what they can do, other than just how they look. So I don't know if that's going to change anytime soon, but we can hope.
uh, I'm a woman and I've experienced and seen firsthand how we get treated in this industry. It's based off of beauty or aesthetic. And
Right.
even when it comes to aging, when you get up there, if you're in your prime, you're in your 20s, they want you. That's from the music business to the movie industry. It's called ageism. And when you reach up
Mm-hmm.
there a certain age, it's just like, okay, when do you stop? When do you keep going? But I look at people like Angela Bassett, the late Cicely Tyson. They keep going. It's about longevity.
Right.
If this is something that you're passionate about doing, go for it. But for women, it is like, we have to worry about aging and our beauty and all of these type of things to keep it going in this business. But for men, you guys have got a little bit easier, but it's still work that we have to do in this industry.
Right.
It's a lot.
Right. Right. And people tend to forget that there's more to us than just our physical aspect. Not to go too deep, but there's a spiritual side to life as well, that people tend to forget about because we get so caught up in TikTok or Instagram and things like that that we just tend to get disconnected from what really matters. And those are some of the projects that I'd like to be more involved in as far as understanding what humanity is about, and not just getting caught up in the day-to-day BS of life, so to speak. You know. So yeah, I've actually thought about writing some stuff, and maybe I'll get into that someday as well.
And that was going to be my next question for you. You must have been reading from my cue cards here because
Oh,
that was what I was actually going to ask you. Writing and directing, you've covered it all from modeling to acting. Would you ever see
mhm.
yourself writing and directing behind you?
Um, I'm not sure about the directing part, just because I don't know a whole lot about it. I haven't experienced that side of the business just yet. But as far as writing, I actually used to write short stories growing up as a kid. Um, and I've had an idea of a screenplay I've been kicking around for over a decade now. Um, that's it's kind of a thriller, sci-fi thriller that has a twist. I don't want to go too much to give it away, but because I don't want anybody to take any idea. But yeah, I actually have thought about writing. I thought actually thought about writing. I actually wrote a little bit of a script during the pandemic about what was going on, and a lot of people were hesitant about the vaccines and things like that. So I kind of wrote something along those lines, just kind of deal with that. But you know, yeah. But in answer to your question, yes, I have thought about writing, and it's just a long process. You just have to have a lot of make the time for it, because writer's block comes into play a lot of times. And for me personally, the thing I've experienced is, okay, I've got the beginning, I've got the end, I know how I want it to go. Now it's just you got to fill in the middle and make it work. So to me, that's the hard part. So yeah.
What's your biggest fear?
My biggest fear. Um, that's a good question. My biggest fear, I would say, maybe not living up to my own standards as far as what I feel like I'm capable of. One of my biggest things is just bombing in auditions, things like that. Failure is a big fear of mine. Um,
I see.
my my father who passed away several years ago.
Sorry.
But his biggest thing, thank you. But his biggest thing was he didn't care what any of us did as far as, professions. But he just said, one thing I don't want you to do, son, is be a bum. And so that, I mean, I don't think that'll ever happen for me, but just failure in general is probably my biggest fear. But,
My
with failure comes learning.
that is one of my biggest fears also too is failing. Sometimes you lose in the race, but you keep going. I've had opportunities. Who hasn't been told no? I've had opportunities closed in my face because they say no, you're not what we're looking for, and that's to be expected in this industry and in this business. And
Hmm.
somehow you have to go and carve your own path. And me, I've carved my own path, and I do something different because there's so many people who do the same exact thing. Like
Right.
my brother K2, I don't know if he's still in here. He popped in for a second. He's collabed with me and has been on the show and has been a huge support system. And we have each other's phone numbers, so we talk outside of the show. And I see who's coming on
Hmm.
his platform, who's coming on my platform. So it's a big support system between each other. Whereas if being in this business as a journalist or a talk show hostess is like it's very competitive, but that's not the case with me and K2s or any other content creator at all. So far, some people have been very welcoming to me, and I'm thankful for that. And that's very likely to find in this business because everybody's in the competitive. It's like the Lauren Hill, she said this when she went to go speak at a college. This was back around the time she released her album. It's like, I got to get the enemy. I got to get the enemy type mindset. And it's just like, no, it's enough room for everybody to win. And
Exactly.
that's the motto
Exactly.
that I have and I've adapted to my platform and my talk show here. And that's why I've had the success that I've had throughout the years. This will be 400, interview 448.
Oh,
We've done
wow.
so many throughout the past few years. I started in 2016 and not even to believe that I would have gotten this far to even see all of the names that I've had on this platform. It's crazy. So it just goes to show,
Mhm.
you can overcome fear because that's what we've been talking throughout the whole week is about overcoming your fear and exceeding all odds and expectations. It's difficult,
Exactly.
but those obstacles are there and it's up to you to cross them. Find a road, find a way. It's like that game where you're trying to get to all the cubes, get through all the cubes and knock them down into the that's what it's like in life. So you're gonna have many toss, many turns. But I keep going. And that would be my advice to anybody. So that's why I had to ask you that question because I'm pretty sure you've had some adversities you had to overcome being in the fashion industry, modeling, and then acting as well too, especially as a African American man, as a black man in this business.
Hmm. And it's important what you said as far as there's enough space for everybody to kind of make their mark.
Yeah.
I'm a believer that life is going to show up for you based off of what's going on in here.
Oh yeah.
Um, you know, so if you're one of those people that's constantly, pessimistic or thinking negatively, then that's all you're going to see, and that's all you're going to encounter. But once you're able to kind of focus in on what you want, stay positive. I mean, as hard as it is in this world today, if you can take that time, it's about, kind of taking time and stepping away from the noise.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in self-reflection, and self-care more than anything because the mental struggle is real. I've dealt with it myself. There was a time when several years ago I was at my lowest point, and I was able to overcome that, and thank God because now things have improved in my life, and if I can be an inspiration as far as saying, hey, I've had my ups and downs. I've been told no. I've had doors slammed in my face, but I keep going because it's a belief. I'm not to get overly spiritual or
No.
anything like that, but I'm a believer in God. I'm not necessarily religious, but I do believe in a higher power. And with that, it keeps me going. I have faith in myself and I have faith in going after what I feel is one of my purposes for being here. I think we all have a purpose. We're all unique and we're all experiencing life in a unique way. Um, I was at, like I said, I was thinking about this the other day. uh, I was driving, and I'm just happening to glance around and seeing people on the street, and I was like, wow, to me, it's about not necessarily experiencing. It's about God experiencing itself through us in a unique way. So that's why everyone is special and everyone is unique because you're only experiencing your life through your eyes, and nobody else is experiencing the way you experience it based off of what you've gone through and the influences in your life. So yeah, just keep doing you and shine as bright as you can.
And when you said that last part, I'm gonna go back to a minute because you said you was at your lowest point. I'm gonna make 2 points to that. What you just said was, shout outs to Rodney John, who is celebrity makeup artist. He does Sherry Shepherd. Sherry's talk show is out right now, so make sure you want to check that out. He posted something not too long ago here on the ground, either was yesterday or the day before, where he said he was looking at the people on the street. Be careful and mindful how you treat people. You never know, because just as fast as you got blessed and you're in a place in your life and power, you can lose it all. Something to that extent. So never get too cocky and arrogant in this business that you forget and lose sight of who you are. So shout outs to Rodney John for that. That was beautiful. And you said you at the lowest point in your life, because when I did my girl talk yesterday with Latrice Nicole, we talked about mental health. And I said how proud I was to see Black men be candid and open up and just say, okay, I'm not feeling it today. It's okay to not be okay. Whereas women, we're more emotional creatures and we're able to come out and cry. Whereas Black men, we've been trained, don't cry, you look weak. Now we're starting to see more and more men, and I commend you for that, say, I'm not okay. This is not how I'm feeling today. I don't think I can go through with it. I struggle with anxiety. And even coming on and hosting this platform is nerve-wracking. A lot of people would not think that I would get nervous, but I do. I do. The jitters. I get the jitters. I get the bugs because I want things to go smoothly with my guests. I don't want to mess up or have something go wrong or an eyelash fall off or anything happen. But so far, it's been a success. And that's because I pray and I talk to God. My mom told me this every time I do an interview. She said, pray before and after an interview. And I pray before an interview and I pray after an interview. That it was a success, that it was an achievement, that people enjoy it, the people at home that are watching, whether it's on their phone, tablet, laptop, whatever, that they're home, they're watching, and they take something from this. But it's all a learning experience for each and every one of us. But when it comes to mental health and getting yourself out of that dark depression, it's not that hard. You talk to people about it. And there are so many resources out here that can help people. If you struggle with anxiety, or if you find yourself slipping, because I remember one time I almost had a nervous breakdown before the show. And I couldn't do it. I called K-Tooks. K-Tooks was like, what was going on? I had a panic attack. So it just took over me, and I said, God got me. God, you're not through with me. This is what I love to do. So I talked to God about it, and it's helped a lot in the process. There's so many outlets. And another thing you said was self-care. If you guys follow me, you guys know that I'm all about self-care, self-indulgence, and that's why I come on so rejuvenated and so refreshed, because I take time for myself and I take breaks. Sometime in this business, you have to take breaks. You can't keep going, because I do this platform 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. And even when I have every day, and it's consistency, and I try to be consistent with it, because I'm like, I don't want to let the viewers down. I don't want to let nobody down. I want to keep all of my interview dates. And so far, it's been great. But sometimes there are days where if I get a day off or a guest has to cancel, I take that time off and I reflect. And that is more so time for me and my family. And I'm so thankful that I have the option to say, no, I don't want to do this. I don't feel like doing it today. And when it comes to protecting your peace and your energy and your mental health, that's key to anybody, no matter what position.
Right. Yeah, that's very true. I mean, I was lucky to have, great family, great support system, very close to my mother. So whenever I've, I needed some help with whatever it is, someone just to talk to, she's been a rock for me. But yeah, I used to, even to this day, I still kind of somewhat deal with anxiety. I would have panic attacks and things like that. Um, and I actually used to have an acting coach who would tell me, I used to talk to them about, these things I would have, and they would tell me, the reason why is because all the attention was on myself. As me being self-conscious, me worrying about what others think of me, and things of that nature. And so what they told me that really I found helped a lot was to put the attention outside of myself, focus on something outside of myself. If I'm in a bank and I'm starting, having a panic attack in line, focus on, start reading some of the posters on the wall, start, looking at other people. And then that way you're taking the attention off of yourself, and, you can kind of bring yourself back to normalcy in a way. So that's one way I kind of deal with it, and to this day. So the modeling thing, that was another reason why I was hesitant to get into modeling, because I was like, all you're in modeling, you're basically judged off of your appearance, 100%, so, that's one of the reasons why I kind of just steered away from it. But, at the same time, it keeps me focused on, number one, it keeps me motivated to stay in shape. And I've met some great people throughout. The fashion industry is an interesting industry because fashion and, acting, I love it because you're around so many creative people.
Yeah.
And it's so diverse, and it's just one of those things where you're like, all right, this is my element. I'm around a bunch of creatives, so let's get to work. So yeah, I love it.
And you see things you've never seen before. It's like an extraordinary world. That's why I'm obsessed with all things fashion. If you guys have been following me for so long, I'm always keeping up with what's in the trend. I don't stay the same. I'm always changing and evolving, going right along with the trends as well, to even ahead of it. But it explores you to a whole new different world. And that's why I love fashion so much, because for me, it's like an escape. It's like a getaway from the real world, because I'm born and raised down here in South Carolina, little girl from South Carolina, and being able to network through the power of technology with so many of these amazing fashion insiders, influencers. Shout out to Fashionista Stories, Black-owned fashion blog, and I've known her for a very long time. So being able to link up with the likes. Hi, Jay Evans. Shout outs to Jay Evans. Make sure you guys go and check out the Jay Evans Talk Show. And we did a couple collabs together, so make sure you guys go and check that out too. Me, K Tooks, and
Hey, Jay.
And that's the power of networking, and be able to meet with so many amazing people. And I've interviewed a couple supermodels, yourself included, here on this platform, that are also inside the fashion industry, to get to know the nose of everything that goes on. But that can be exhausting as well too, being in front of the lights, the camera, the hair, the makeup. People don't see what goes on backstage at fashion shows at times, and how chaotic it is. I can only imagine New York Fashion Week. I've never been in my entire life. I've seen the chaos, and I have family in New York, so I already know what's going on backstage. It's a lot of ripping, tearing, designers, pins, deals, everything is crazy. So would I be excited to go to New York Fashion Week? Absolutely, I would love to. I love the rush. I love the thrill of it. I love the thrill of it, because I know that when it takes designers a lot to put these pieces together, to make sure that when the moms come out, when you guys come out on the runway, and there's photographers, there's everybody, there's people like myself who's writing and reviewing these designs, and it takes a lot of pressure, because there's thousands of people out there. You don't want to mess up, you don't want to fall, you want everything to go right. So yeah, I definitely. Right.
And one of the things that you mentioned just now was the whole backstage scenario, because I've done the runway before, and I remember the first time I actually did it. It was interesting because, like I said, I was, grew up a shy kid and like insecure about all that kind of stuff. So when we're backstage, and we have to change these outfits, it's like, all right, here, put on this. I'm like, all right, well, where's the dress? Where's the changing room? Where's this and that? Like, no, just put it on right now. And you got guys and girls just kind of ripping off clothes, throwing off. I was like, oh, wow, this is how it is. Okay. So I had to get used to that. Yeah, it's fun. It's an experience. I enjoy it. So yeah.
Now, what would you go back in time and tell your younger self? You've overcome that. You said you was kind of shy and you overcame it, and now you're
Mhm.
this. Because I remember seeing your pictures in on billboards. I think it was in Ulta, Sephora, all of these high end fashion and beauty stores. I remember seeing your photos and flipping through magazines. I would see. I think Cosmopolitan was one of the places that I
Okay.
seen. So what would you go back in time and tell your younger self?
Um, I would tell my younger self to have more confidence. As far as being aware, knowing my value, basically. Because, like I said, when you grow up that way, when you're insecure, you don't really know what your value is in the industry. Um, so just kind of understanding that, saying, hey, you are good enough. Hey, these people see something in you that you don't necessarily see, but it's there. So that's what I would tell my younger self. And number two, it would be more along the lines of acting, is to take it a little more seriously. Because I remember when I first started, I just thought it was easy. I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about the technical side of working the camera. I thought it was just, all right, learn your lines and then go out and say it. But no, it's a lot more to it than that. I've learned. I remember one particular thing. I had an audition for a play, um, and I just kind of learned the lines. And I was really young. I was hanging out with my roommates. I actually went to a club or something the night before the audition, and I did the audition. I thought I did okay, and the director, he called me, which is unusual, and said, "Hey, we liked you, but we're gonna go in a different direction." And it was an opportunity for me to kind of say, "Hey, where did I go wrong?" And then he straight up told me, he's like, "We felt like you weren't prepared enough." I was like, "Oh." So that was a wake up call for me. I said, "Oh wow, I thought I just need to know my lines and kind of know where I need to go with the piece." And that wasn't it. It was like, no, you need to learn your lines. You need to know what your motivations are. You need to know what the characters ins and outs are. You need to know the relationships. I was like, okay, all right, I got it. I got it. And then from there, I just kind of just took it a lot more seriously. But when you're young and having fun, you're not thinking about that kind of stuff. You know,
Right.
I thought I was going to be like Entourage or something, but it didn't quite turn out that way.
And you take that as a learning experience because a lot of people will not believe I'll be 30 this October
Oh,
31st. I'm
wow.
29 now. And a lot of people
Okay.
will think, oh, well, you sound older than you are, but that comes from life experience itself
Hmm.
and things that you've
Indeed.
encountered in life. So, what you take from your younger self and now into your adulthood, you take it as like a learning experience. And it's just like a milestone. Because I remember my sister, God rest her soul, would cry, she cried turning 30. And she says, well, you wait, it's going to happen to you. And now it's happening to me. So now I'm starting to see the light bulb go off. All of these real things that when I would do in my younger years when I first started this platform, I can't do anymore. It's like as you grow older, you learn. It's like that milestone. You kind of chill, you sort of relax about it and balanced out. So my next question for you is what makes you the happiest?
I'm working, just working on the art. Anytime I'm able to dig into the craft and work on a piece, because everything is discovered. You might get, say you have an audition and you have a script for a few days. I used to think, oh, okay, I'll learn lines and this and that, but every day, every time you run through the script, you learn something new. You learn a different approach. Collaborating with different people on a project, you learn what the director's vision is. Okay, how did you see this character? And then you kind of, compare that to how you see it based on how the director sees it. You kind of just kind of match that vision, because in any project, I just consider myself as part of the cog in the wheel. It's not
Right.
necessarily about one person. Yeah, usually in a movie or something like that, you have a star and you have a supporting cast. but that supporting cast has to be able to do their job to make the project good. Otherwise, if one piece falls down, the whole project could go to crap. But the thing that makes me happy is actually, working and being creative. So yeah, I gotta go with that. I love it.
Absolutely.
I love it.
And it's a great feeling when you get your creativity and your juices flowing. Everyone sees that. They see that you're happy. It's amazing. It's such a good feeling. I posted a quote last week, just not too long ago, about when you achieve all of your goals. It was about goals. And I can't remember right off that, but it's just such a good feeling when you accomplish everything that you've aligned in your life. I create vision boards, and it's like everything that I put in
Good.
my vision board is now coming to fruition. I'm looking at it right across the room in my
Nice.
left eye. So it's like everything that I put on that board is now coming to fruition full circle. And I couldn't ask for more. It's like all of the pieces of the puzzle are in life. But there are a few pieces that are missing that I would like to add into my puzzle, but it's more to come. And I wouldn't take it for granted each day. I love what I do. And if I can be that beacon to bring happiness to people, that's something that I signed up for, was to bring a smile to a person's face and make them feel good going on throughout their day with these.
So let me ask you, what's an example of something on your vision board that you've accomplished?
Well, one of my pieces was to set the tone, and then I put shit, because before I was like yourself, I was kind of shy. Before I was just like, no, I shouldn't say that. No, I shouldn't make that career move. Now I've just learned to just leap, just go with it. Out of fear of what people would think, that's something that I said I wanted to work on within myself. And that is what we talked about earlier, fear. And I've overcome it now. There's still a few things that I'm scared of, like spiders, frogs, anything that crawls. But
Right.
yes, but in life, career-wise, I must say I'm happy. I'm satisfied.
Okay. Good. Good. I mean, a vision board is great. I've put together vision boards in the past myself, so I'm with you right there with that. Yeah.
And I'm so thankful. It's like God is putting all of the things out here in the universe for me, and I'm taking heed to it. I'm listening and receiving it all.
Exactly.
What about abundance?
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, fashion dolls. We're going to get into some games here with Mr. Amir. And the first one is called
Games.
Yes. Etc.
Okay.
is, I'm going to give Amir two choices, and you have to tell me which one you would keep, which one you like. It's like, sort of like this or that. And the next one is called Turn the Tables. And for my new viewers out here, because I've seen a few new faces pop in the comments, you get to know a little bit about me through Amir's questioning. So he's going to ask me some questions, as many as he wants to. Fashion related, beauty related, family related, goal related, whatever he wants to know or is curious to know about me, you guys get to know through that questioning that Amir asks. All right, fashion dolls? So let's start off with etc. So I'm going to give you two choices, and you have to tell me which one you prefer. All right? The first one is farm or city?
Oh man, that's an interesting question because I have to pick one, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I had to pick, I'd probably have to go. In this point in my life, I'd probably have to go with the city for now.
Okay.
I wanted to say farm too because there are times where I just want to get away, but I'm in a point in my life where I probably want to be in the city more.
All right. The next one is laptop or tablet?
Oh, laptop.
Okay. Comedy or horror?
Comedy.
Okay. Okay. Dine in or dine out?
It's interesting. I personally, like, for instance, if I'm dating someone, I personally like to cook for that person, so I'd have to say dine in.
Okay. Okay. Movies or TV shows?
Movies.
Okay. Waffle or pancake?
Mm. uh, let's let's go waffles.
Okay. Text or call?
Oh. Um, See, these things are kind of vary, depends. But I would probably have to say text for now, just because you don't want to get on a phone call with somebody you don't want to talk to too long. It's kind of hard to get off that call. So text.
All right. Trucks or cars?
Cars.
Okay. Weekends or weekdays?
Weekends.
Okay. Lunch or dinner? Dining in this
Dinner.
romantic.
Dinner.
And we'll get to that. We'll get to that a little bit later. His ideal date. All right. Pizza or pasta?
Mm. I'd probably go with pizza. Pizza. I don't. Yeah, pizza.
Dark chocolate or milk chocolate?
Milk chocolate.
Okay. All right. Asia or Europe?
Um, I'd say Asia. Asia. I'd like to go Asia. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was saying drama or fantasy.
Drama.
Okay. Unicorn or dragon?
Uh, let's go with dragon.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Movie date or dinner date? Because we talked about dining in.
Dinner date for sure. Dinner
Um,
date.
Basketball or football?
Ooh. Well, I played football growing up, so I'd probably go with football. Although I like basketball as well.
All right. All right, fashion dolls. There you have it, etc. with Amir. Now, but before we get to me, we need to know about this ideal dining date. Tell us, what is your ideal date? How would you describe your ideal date?
Well, I mean, my ideal date is having somebody. I mean, if I'm planning on cooking, I'd like to have somebody come by the place and TV off, music in the background. I'm one of those people who likes the interaction, the real personal touch. So a lot of times, I'm sorry.
I was saying the conversation in that moment, right?
Absolutely, because if you're fairly new to the person, you really want to get to know them, and just have a conversation. So I particularly like to discuss things that are beyond the surface with people who I'm interested in. Just kind of explore, where their mind is and, what they think and, what their perception of life is about. Because, that's what I like to get into those types of things. But yeah, cook something. I mean, one of my specialties is, caramelized Brussels sprouts.
Mm.
Which is one of my things I like to make. So yeah,
Fashion
wine,
dolls.
things like that. So yeah,
And for me, that definitely is a must in a date, because I was about to say, well, those two choices I gave you with movies, it's going to be kind of difficult to talk and get to know each other during a movie. We're going to have to
exactly,
be quiet the whole time and just focus on the film. But
exactly.
I prefer that as well too, where we're in that moment, where we're engaged in the conversation and we're talking back and forth. And that's for anybody. Be in the moment, be in the present. I want to focus on me,
Right,
get to know you, and we get to know each other. Whereas if we're watching a film, we have to focus on the film, and everybody's watching the film, so we can't really talk until after the film, unless we go and
right,
take a break. There's an arcade too, but yeah.
right, right. So now it's my turn to ask you questions, or how's
It's
this going?
time to turn the tables. Yes.
Okay, so I mean, how'd you get started in the fashion world, so to speak? Like, what drew you to it, and when what made you decide to do it?
I always give credit to my assistant principal from high school, Dr. G. I was sitting in the lunchroom one day, and she was walking around. You know how principals do when everybody's in there and the kids all around. and it was almost time to go to class. It was the morning break. And she walked up and she tapped me. She said, I see you like fashion. Because at the time I was sketching, because I do fashion illustration somewhere. That's been a long time since I've done it. So she said, I see you like fashion. These are good. So she came the next day. She said, do you like Vogue? I said, yes, I love Vogue. She came with her car with a big Vogue magazine that had at least 800 pages. It was this thick.
Okay.
And
Wow.
she came and she bought me a stack of Vogue and Harper's Bazaar. And I said, the only designers that I've been exposed to was South Pole and FUBU at the time. But now that I'm such a fashionista and a fashion girl, I know about the Valentinos, the Oscar de la Rentas, the Terry Muglers, the Custom Dior, all of these designers. Being exposed to them opened a whole new world. So she opened me to a whole new world of so many fashion designers and how to pronounce them. She said, baby, if you're going to be in the fashion world, you got to know how to pronounce these designer names right. I'm going to get you right. So she taught me before I graduated, just through those magazines. Every issue that she got, she brought to me every morning. And I had a friend, shout out to my friend, Ave Bella, who is now this big makeup artist. Shout outs to her. Make sure you guys check her out here on the gram. And we would have to share the magazines because we're both into fashion. We're both into hair and makeup. And that's how I met Avery, because we both clicked right then and there. We're both girls who love our fashion, who love our makeup. So that's how I got into fashion, through my assistant principal. She taught me so much.
Okay, awesome. All right. I mean, so what drew you to it though? What is it about the fashion industry?
Being able to change, being able to just explore creativity. And I've always had a creative mind ever since I was a little baby. I've always had a creative mind. I always wanted to think ahead and above and beyond and just see a different world, the way other people didn't see it. So that's what drew me to the fashion industry, being able to change and say the things that you want to say through your fashion, through your dressing. Like, I don't know if you guys can see it today, the dress that I'm wearing. I wanted to do something very colorful, something very bright, something very sensual, something very in homage to Tina Turner, very in homage to the models of Cosmopolitan. So that's what today's look is with that. So I always try to go through different decades, different eras of fashion, just through that. It's like an escape for me. It's escapism.
Oh, there you go. All right. I got another question along different lines. What's the closest you've ever come to dying?
Ooh, I haven't had an experience like that.
Oh, well, that's good.
But I have allergies real bad. And I remember I made the mistake of doing one show with a sinus infection. And I said, never again. And I literally thought I was going to be out. I couldn't do it no more. I literally thought I was going to be out. I said, this is the last thing y'all get. And I had to take that break for about a month. And oh my God, I had to come back. I was feeling refreshed and rejuvenated. So that's about the closest. Yeah. If you
Okay. All right.
yeah, you will feel it.
Okay. All right. So let's take it in another direction. What would you say is the proudest moment of your life?
And I think a lot of people know this. Reaching my goal. I set a goal back in, I want to say, January. When we first started, I said, oh, I'm going to hit 400 episodes. And lo and behold, I hit my 400 episodes. And I posted the achievements of all the interviews that I've accomplished, and consistency, that willpower, that drive, not being able to give up. That was one of my biggest accomplishments that I achieved. And I remember jumping up and screaming, like, this is the 400th episode. Oh, my God. And it was with Andre Bellows. So shout outs to Andre Bellows. It was amazing. And it was like a new era, a new dawn, a new day, because you're starting over into something even bigger and better. And it's growth for me.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. All right, so let's ask you some of those questions you asked me. Dining in or dining out?
I would have to say dining in because I want to get to know the person. I want to get to know the
Hmm.
person in that time, in that present, in that moment. So dining in, definitely.
Okay. All right. All right. Let's see. If you could, all right, if you were stranded on a desert island somewhere, and you could have, let's say, three CDs, what would they be? Or
One,
I guess CDs, I'm kind of dating myself. We don't use CDs anymore. But let's say we
no.
have CDs.
Oh, the first one would have to be Sade Love Deluxe. The second one would have
Okay.
to be Anything Force MDs. And the third one would definitely have to be, oh my God, you got me. Oh my goodness. And you
No
guys know
pressure. No pressure.
she's one of
Don't
my
worry about it. No pressure.
favorite, she's one of my favorite singers. And I wish she was still here. I would have to say Whitney Houston. Anything Whitney Houston.
Hmm. Yeah. Well, that's a great choice. That's a great choice. Nothing wrong with that. All right. Let's switch it to movies. If you take your top, what would be your top three favorite movies of all time?
My top three favorite movies. One is The Devil Wears Prada. I like
Okay.
the Nutty Professor, and
Okay.
I'm gonna go all the way back to Audrey Hepburn. I would have to say Funny Face is one of my favorites too. So yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you went way back in the archives for that one. Okay. All right. Well, let's see. I haven't really prepared my questions, but I don't know. Oh, who is your favorite designer?
Everyone knows this. If you guys know me, I love structure and silhouette. So I would have to go with Terry Mugler. His designs
McGlare.
are out of this world. And
Okay.
I went back and I watched some of his shows. Like each show has a collection. There is Les Insects, which would have been 1997. There's the Vampire Collection, which is 1992. So, oh my goodness. Terry Mugler is one of my, hands down, one of my personal favorite fashion
Okay.
designers because he's
Okay.
so innovative and he's seen things in a lens where nobody else seen it, where it was just like, okay, he had a love for insects. Like I would see the mosquito, he
Insect.
took the mosquito and gained inspiration from it. And then there's the iconic butterfly dress that you guys have seen everywhere. So Terry Mugler is hands down one of my favorites. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't know. I don't have any more questions that I can think of off the top of my head. Um, let's see. Hmm. Uh, oh, do you prepare meals yourself? Do you cook or do you cook at all?
A little bit.
A little bit, a
A
little
little bit.
bit.
Well, I gave myself credit because for Thanksgiving I made the macaroni and cheese.
Okay. How
Yeah.
did it turn out?
Yes. It turned out amazing. Everybody was eating it, and my mom said, "Oh my God, it's so sweet." So yes, I did pretty good on that. And I give myself a pat on the
Okay.
back.
Was that your first time making it, or have you made it
Yes, this
before?
is my first time ever doing it for Thanksgiving. Normally, our moms would do it. My mom would do it. That's her thing. Is either potato salad or the macaroni and cheese. But that year, I got to do it, so I give myself a pat on the back for it. And the bowl was gone. Everybody was eating. My brother took some. He
Yeah.
came down with his girlfriend and took some, and then the rest of the family came over. Like we were all going to each other's door to door. Family members now. We wasn't because
Okay.
typically we don't have it under one roof with my grandmother. My grandmother says she is not cooking, so everybody had to do their own thing.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So I'll ask you one more question. So what would you say, who would you say has been the biggest influence in your life for you?
I would have to say my mom
Okay.
because she's so strong. She's a Libra. I'm a Scorpio, so you already know
Yeah,
the
I'm a
energy
Scorpio.
that we give. What?
I said I'm a Scorpio as well. So yeah. Yay.
Oh my God! No wonder why we're clicking. All right.
Right?
Yes. Oh my goodness. My mom has been one of the biggest influence in my life. That woman has endured so much, and then seeing her resilience, seeing her overcome everything that she's been through, you know, health wise, whatever. I don't even have to get to the gist of it, but she's still here.
Hmm.
She's a survivor. She's still here. She raised a strong woman, myself, and all of us have that same trait that she has, and that's that resilience to keep going. That's that resilience to never give up, and she always invested and instilled that into each and every one of us, myself, my
Okay.
sister, and my brothers. So yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Scorpios can be trouble, man. I used to date a Scorpio, and that relationship had fireworks. Let me put it like that.
It's all of you stay on our good side and our good graces. We are okay. But I haven't had to get angry. I don't remember my temper was real bad, and he said, "Oh, yep, you're a Scorpio because you get angry, you get fiery."
Hmm.
One a couple seasons ago, but not recently. I'm very
Hmm.
calm and relaxed right now. And
Okay.
I think if
Gotcha.
I'm going to be petty, there's other ways and means to being petty. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, I'm going to get you back. I'm going to get you, because before I would be like that, but now I'm just like,
All right.
nope. I'm gonna sit back and observe, and I'm gonna let karma do its course.
Hmm. Yeah. It usually happens that way, right?
Yes, and that is the
Mhm.
end result. That's it, fashion dogs.
Okay.
That is the turn the tables segment. My last question for you is: we talked about overcoming adversity. Adversity. We talked about overcoming obstacles. We talked about so much throughout this amazing, great combo. What is something that you would like for young people that are getting into the industry, whether it's modeling or fashion, to take away from our conversation?
Um. Uh. From today, I would just say, don't give up more than anything. Like I said, it's not, for some it might happen overnight, but for most it's not going to happen overnight. Which to me probably is a good thing, because when people get, immediate success, or, fame and money, you see what happens. There's countless tragic stories of people who've experienced a lot very quickly. So sometimes if your journey's taking a little longer than you expected, it's probably for the best. Because in my eyes, there's a plan. The universe has a plan for you, and the universe, it wants to give you what you want, but it wants to give it to you when you can handle it. So if things are taking a little longer than you expected, that's fine. Just keep going. My biggest thing is just don't quit. Keep the belief in yourself. Keep faith in yourself. I think that, you've been given um, things that you want to do for a reason. Everybody has a purpose, I feel, and whatever your heart is telling you to do, that's what you need to do. And you need to block out all the outside noise of the naysayers, the people that'll kind of try to douse your dreams because they're not able to fulfill theirs. So if somebody's telling you that, hey, you can't do that, or you probably shouldn't do that, just take it, consider the source, so to speak. But more than anything, keep belief in yourself, and if you believe in a higher power, then believe in that as well, because that's what's going to get you through. That's what's gotten me through. So yeah, just persevere. Don't quit.
Absolutely. And to add on to what Amir just said, we have a final word of the day, which comes from Iyanla Vanzant. And it says this: your willingness to look at your darkness is what empowers you to change. So you have to go through surgically and reveal the good and the bad about yourself. The key trick is to keep going, like Amir just said, and never give up. And sometimes you find yourself in a dark space, but pull yourself out of that dark space. Don't find yourself seeping so deep into it, where it's just like, okay, oh my God, I'm so depressed. Find someone to talk to, find an outlet. There's so many resources out here that can help you. I'm only one DM away. And even for me, I sometimes, when I'm not doing a show, I'm thankful to have people like K Tubes or Alan Yankee or my girlfriend Felicia, so many others that will reach out to me like, hey girl, what's up? How you doing? You didn't do a show today. You're not live. And I'm just like, I, took a break. I took time off for myself. Keep those people in your life. Surround yourself with people who love and care for you. who are there, who are beneficial and imperative in your life that can help you go a long way. So you have to look at the good and the bad and let it sink in yourself. Really evaluate and reflect, as Amir said in the beginning of the interview. So that will empower you to change. And that is the final word of the day, ladies and gentlemen, fashion dolls. And Amir, let everyone know where they can follow you. And this project, Passionate Portrayals, drops next month, June 25th. So make sure you guys are following Amir and Shireen and the cast for this, shall I say, scandalous project coming out next month, Passionate Portrayals.
Yeah.
Let
Passionate
everyone
Portrayals, guys.
where they can follow you.
You can follow me on Instagram at Amir_J Carpenter. Just look up at Amir. I keep forgetting if the underscore is before or after, but Amir_J Carpenter. And that's pretty much it as far as the social media. I don't get on Twitter. I'm not big on Facebook, but that's one place where you can follow me. And IMDb, you can kind of keep tabs on what I'm up to. And that I usually post a lot of stuff on Instagram projects, which I posted something on. I just did a project called Trenches. It's out now, so you can check that out. And I have other stuff in the works. So yeah, I want to thank you again, Stevie, for having me on, and really appreciate it.
You are so welcome, and I'm still shocked at that discovery. I didn't know you were a Scorpio. I'm just stunned because I typically click with every zodiac sign. Because you're my sign as well too. I was just wow, it's mind blowing. But thank you all so much, and thank you, Amir, for coming here to the Dollhouse, just giving us a few minutes of your time. Would love to have you back in the future because I'm pretty sure
absolutely anytime.
So much more on the horizon for you. I can't wait to see.
Thank you.
You are so welcome. Tune in June 2nd, Fashion Dolls. Jonathan Jazz Anderson joins me. No show tomorrow. A special thanks to everyone. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Head on over and subscribe to Style by Stevie Daytime on YouTube. Special thanks to my makeup artist, Melanie Nalamai, right here on Instagram. Special thanks to everybody. Thank you all for supporting and watching the platform. And we will see you guys, let's see, Friday.
Friday.
All right, you guys take care, everyone.